It always comes to this. Hello there guys, here to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I showed off the red on black third pass on my hand. I had a crazy heal with that. It's obviously still healing. I think it's been 5 days since I had it done, and I did the video when it was fresh. So it looked all kinds of insane. It really went through all the typical warning stages of you might have an infection. Only I knew the whole time I didn't have an infection. It's just we're working over so much scar tissue that taking a month and a half or 2 months or whatever it was in between the second and third pass was enough, but it was pushing it. I think now if I want to hit it again, I need to wait, say, 6 months to a year. Just take my word for it on it. It was pretty wild. You'll be able to see the Remy Reacts videos that will have gone up probably about 2 or 3 weeks before this vlog, actually. You could see that my hand was pretty wild looking. I had no worry about it, but most people would have. Most people probably would have ended up going and getting it checked for an infection or whatever the fuck else. But I was pretty confident it was good. The swelling was coming down day by day. It was still weeping like 3 days after the fact. It was so funny. Yesterday morning I woke up and there was still a little bit of weeping, and then parts of it were peeling. So some parts of it were still very traumatized and taking longer to get like kind of better, and other parts of it were already healing. So it was like, what is going on with this hand? Primarily it was the knuckles that healed the hardest. I'll just show it off. So it's in a pretty choppy stage right now, but as you can see, we do have quite a bit of red there. Now I'll reference the fact that during the second pass red on black hand, there was quite a bit of red there too. So some of this is still going to fade off, but where we have the solid red, I think we're going to keep. So I think we got a good chance this time of like most of it being pretty red, but there are going to be places that still go to that purpley, almost black but not quite black level. So it will need a fourth pass eventually, but that's just more to do in the future. I'll get to that probably in December, November, somewhere in that area. I'm not going to touch it again until then, and it'll be good anyway, because then I'll really know what I'm working with. Over the last month and a half, the second pass really kind of revealed itself to me. So with the hand, because it is such a slow heal, even though it looks pretty red today, a month from now, some of that red's going to go away. So a month or two from now, it will look much different. And hopefully we got enough in there that it's not so bad for the fourth pass, but I do think that my skin needs a long break. It's anyone's guess how many times that thing's been tattooed, and I'm not done with it yet. So, moving right along. Sorry, I'm talking a little funny. I just had my teeth cleaned. For anyone who's wondering, I've had a few people ask me in the past about labret piercings and plaque buildup. You do get a little more plaque on your bottom teeth. So I'm going to be more like every 4 to 6 months, go for a cleaning type thing. Now that I got my teeth all up to snuff after neglecting them for so long, it's a quick fix, so I'm not going to let it go. But yeah, the bottom of my mouth gets a little more plaque than the top of my mouth. But my gums are doing great. I've had no recession. I've had no gums receding there. So some of that has to do with placement, though. My piercer pierced my piercing my lip ray piercing pretty, or librette, whichever you prefer, pretty high, and so it doesn't really come into contact with my gums much. But if you get it pierced a little lower, then it will kind of ruffle up against your gums, and there could be some receding gum issues I've heard about. Fortunately for me, my gums are in good shape. Yeah, overall my mouth's doing really good, despite all the piercings I've had. Quick detour there. So Rick and I had another session. You probably see it peeking out there. Mr. Bat looks a lot spookier today. It may be confusing and it may not show up to some people right away, but that's a full color head tattoo now. I've spoken about opaques and black and gray and the differences quite a few times on Remy Reacts, but here I'll talk about it a little more. So we wanted to go full color with it because most of my tattoos are full color. The only thing that's still black and gray on me is parts of my butt and my back piece. I've also got two big pieces on the backs of my thighs that are still black and gray. But eventually everything will be full color, as I've been a full color guy for years now. I did start out liking black and gray a little bit. I had lots of black and gray pieces, but even then my first suit was more full color than it was black and gray. And I actually think that despite what people think about black and gray aging better than color, I actually think color tends to hold in better than black and gray, especially on areas like the head. I don't think we were having too much success with keeping the soft black and gray shading in this head tattoo. So when it came time to do it, Rick and I talked a little bit about it, and it turned out he was on the same page as I was, and let's just pack it. Don't leave any negative space. It looks like there's negative space, and to the untrained eye, I would see that as opaque because I can tell the difference. It's the same thing. Like, this is opaque. The rose on the back of my head is opaque. There was a chest piece that we seen on Remy Reacts recently that my wife thought was black and gray, and I spotted the opaque, for example. People who've looked at black and gray tattoos quite a bit will be able to tell the difference right away between opaque and black and gray. For example, there's opaques in here. It emulates black and gray. In particular, these were the colors were shark skin and stone gray. So there's two different opaques in there, and they won't look exactly like what they're supposed to look like until they heal. It's kind of tricky when you're putting them in. Opaque grays tend to shift quite a bit when they heal, so we will have to wait and see what they look like before deciding whether we're going to do any more with it. Yeah, Rick may end up doing one more minor touch-up on him, just in the grays and the high points. But overall, much cooler, much deeper look. I'll put a picture in of how he originally looked when we finished him versus what he looks like now. And I feel like he had kind of more like, I don't know if human is the right word for it, but he had more of a human skin tone originally, and now it's kind of got more of like a ghoul or like vampire flesh. It seems more fitting for the piece. And Rick used a few other reds that he didn't use the first time to do some more depth in the eyes and the blood. I think they're going to stay pretty close to what they are now. And for reference, while we're talking about it, when Terry and I do the red highlights and the thorns, we're going to use a bright red similar to what we've done here. So there'll be more of that throughout the head. That being said, I was really, really fond of how well the red velvet came out. Even in the pictures and video that Rick took of this, where we were dead on the head, right up close to it, you can see the red is pretty solid all around. Again, the least solid is in the front, but one little pass is going to clear all that up. The red velvet, that is. So, and overall, I think that the red velvet has a kind of vampire-y look to it, or like a gothic kind of horror look to it, and it really does suit the overall feel of the bat better than it did before. with the dainty kind of thornlet that I had going on before we blacked that out. It really is amazing to consider how much has been done on my head in the last month. It's now been just over a month since I shaved my hair, and I've had 6 sessions on it, and it's completely transformed. As I say, there's still more to do, but it should be, again, you don't have to like my tattoos to understand the use of what I'm doing here. I've had some people who, you know, for example, they don't like my chest piece, or they don't understand the rose sleeve, or whatever the hell the case is. You don't like one part or another about what I've done. That's not even the fucking point, though. If you're still thinking that way, you're thinking on the basest of levels. What I am establishing is that you can do whatever the fuck you want. And you don't even have to wait. Like, you don't have to wait at all. Like, this was done in record speed. When are you ever going to have a laser cover-up done in less than a month? And you can get light colors, dark colors, and midtones all over the black, all in the course of a month. And you could do anything you want. You could do. It doesn't have to be thorns and red. It doesn't have to be leaves on the back of your head, or a big rose on the back of your head. Like, it doesn't have to be any of that. It can be anything you want. What if you want a shark? Well, you can have a shark. You know, you can do anything you want. That's more the point of this project. Is I can go incredibly elaborate, crazy nonsense that no one understands, that only Rick and I know what it is. Or I can go super, super bold, striking, and everybody knows what it is, and some people don't like it. The point is not the imagery. The point is the journey and showing off what can be done. And if you're missing that part, you're not thinking about this the right way, because this can help anyone. It's the same thing when I showed off the little floral cover-up on that woman's tribal. Like, that's a very, very minor tattoo, and that's what most cover-ups are. And most shops would have put her through a year of laser sessions before touching that thing. So this is groundbreaking stuff, whether you like what I'm doing with it or not. So stop thinking so simple with it. You don't have to get roses all over your body. You don't need 400 roses like I have. These are just a sign of that it works. All of this stuff has worked. You know, all of this stuff is getting on a year now. My armpits are a year now. Like, they haven't changed. None of this stuff is changing from where I left it. And I can still keep making it better. If I want to, I can make that brighter. If I want to, I can make this brighter. I could continue making all of this better. I don't know many other types of tattoos where you can keep refining things and keep leveling them up if you want. Like, usually, especially with a black and gray tattoo, you get the contrast you get. When you're done, you're done. This potentially gets more contrast than any black and gray I've ever seen. Potentially, if you're willing to go through with it. You can do way more. That being said, some people like it subtle, and that's fine. You can keep it subtle too. There are things in my suit now that are more subtle than others. All the work on my torso, for example, stands out less than the work on my neck because we haven't hit the white as much. We've only done the white once there. The black has stayed how it was. The white has stayed how it was. It's just it's only been done once. So if we want to increase the contrast, we do. That being said, we're probably not going to. We're probably going to add more color. I've got 2 more sessions coming up over the next few days here. Next time I work with Rick, we're going to be starting color in my sleeve. We're going to be doing purple on black for the first time. Well, we've done a little bit, but like we're really going to be doing a lot of purple on black. We're going to be using multiple tones of purple on black. Yeah, it's going to have like kind of an alien texture to it, that whole arm. An alien vibe to it. But and then I've got another session with Terry. We had this spot on the back of my neck. I'll put a picture in so I don't have to try and show it off here. We had the spot on the back of my neck and the black above my ear or behind my ear on either side of my head. We're going to be doing the red velvet there. And so, yeah, lots more fun. Anyway, I'll be talking to you guys again soon. Have a great day.